Well, after more shocking off from last week's race in Suzuka, that resulted in a second time this season for a driver to win more than one race. We now move on to what is round 17 of the RPL F1 season. We are here, we are live, we are at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, in the United States. Welcome along, ladies and gentlemen. I am Titan Ironwolf here, and, well, we will have one joining during, right at the end of qualifying. He'll make the race. We will have 18 drivers in this field. The only person that is yet to join, he'll join later, that is going to be RPL Zakaria, loaned out to Aston Martin. So, let's take a look at our group. Let's take a look at last week's event. Last week, despite a penalty, Maxwell wound up crossing the line in first, but the penalty demoted him to second, with TB being the winner, resulting in Ferrari's first 1-2 since season 1. Boss Cookie was in third place. In the Drivers' Championship, as the season progresses down, it is down to 3 to fight for the championship. It is Scyther still with a 231 point lead, 231 points, a 55 point lead over the Chiller. Third person that's in contention, 94 points behind, is Cryptic, who needs an earshot in order to stay in it. Now, in Cryptic's case, in order for him to still be in the championship hunt, basically in Cryptic's case, he has to win. He has to win the race in order to stay in the hunt. If he does not, he will be eliminated, and it'll be down to Scyther and the Chiller. Anyways, now next up in Constructors' Championship, Red Bull still has their lead, 389 points. Mercedes starting to close the gap. They are 43 points behind. However, Ferrari, because of their 1-2, they managed to reel them in to 4 points behind Mercedes for P2 in the Constructors. Now, that is the group. Let's take a look. Well, we have some drivers that have already completed some laps. We have Cryptic, top of the board, with a 34-0. Jack in the Alpine with a 34-7. TB, 34-8. And Egg with a 35-9. That is the Ferrari, and the Williams. Phil then just put in his time of a 35-4 for Haas. And Jacob, 41-5. He's going to have to do a new lap. He's on intermediates. I wonder why he was on inters. That seems a little weird. Anyways. So there's that. And Beatnik, by the way, 35-5 in the other Alfa Romeo. Bourbon is in the McLaren, Boss Cookie in the Mercedes, the Chiller out and about on his Red Bull, and there's Maxwell in the other Ferrari. Red Fire just put in his time in the other Alpine, 34-2, only 2/10 behind Cryptic. Not a bad time to say the least. Maxwell in the Ferrari. Owen, Alpha Tauri, same with Tadpole. Reese in the other Mercedes. Luke loaned out to Haas tonight in the Haas. And then Globetrotter, aka Capster. Probably butchered his name, but he is in the other. McLaren. And Wavy Knife is here. He is in one of the Astons. So Wavy Knife in one of the Aston Martins. Alright, so the Chiller, by the way, third fastest. Only 300ths behind Red Fire. So Red Fire is really putting on a storm, to say the least. Bourbon is just coming out. Let's take a look at the penalty points. Up and active. There it is. There it is. Now, speaking of penalty points, for F1, well, let's just say this. 4 drivers, they're going to have to behave themselves, to say the least. Red Fire and Owen, they got to behave themselves. They're sitting at 7 penalty points. And meanwhile, Fat Flo and Wavy, they got to behave themselves too. They're at 8. And whoop, there goes Wavy going for a spin. But as more and more of these guys are setting in some laps, Jordan is in. Just saw him. The question is where is he gonna wind up going? Let's see. Jones out. Sec. Well, we got Blackie in, and by looks of it, we'll have to talk to Luke about it, but looks like after qualifying, we will be restarting after qualifying because of this person, Ads, randomly joined and took the second Aston that was meant to be taken by RPL Zakaria, but Ads stole the seat. Alright, so Zakaria is not going to be joining because of these two thieves. So, these two thieves, that's what they're going to be called from here on out, just thieves. So, and if they DNF, I'll laugh hysterically because they're trash and they're bad and all that crap, so I don't care. So, hopefully you two get kicked out of Q1 for being thieving bitches. Anyway, Zach Maxwell starting up his time lap. He's gonna have to get a lap in, or else he's gonna be knocked out of Q1. And oh, looks like Owen of 35.4. Looks like he is out of Q1 because he has crashed somewhere. Question is where? Tab pulls up to P11, so now we have the bottom 6, which is Owen, Luke, Wavy, Maxwell, and the two thieves. Anyways, Maxwell will be finishing up his lap, so he has to beat a 35.7 in order to get himself into Q2. Because 35.7 is Egg's time, which will boot him to 16th. So here comes Maxwell now into the final corner. And he comes across, and it is P8. So something is off with the Ferrari. So something's off with the Ferraris on this track, as they are P8 and P11 respectively. Literally, Ferrari is one of the fastest cars on the track, but they are in the midfield being outdone by McLaren. Outdone by McLaren of all things. Wavy is now going to be out. Luke is on the way. Let's see. What else is going to happen here is Fanflo has just disconnected, so he is 13th, but will probably be knocked out of Q1. Let's see, the Chiller's in the pits. Here comes Egg now to finish off his final lap. He's got to beat a 35.5 in order to stay in. No, he does not. So Egg is knocked out of Q1. Now here comes Beatnik around the last corner. Goes 12th, so he is safe. Luke puts it 8th, so he is safe. Looks like one of the thieves just went 15th. So Owen will fall to 16th. And Blackie, the other thief, is out. So Ads is safe. Look at this. Look at this. From first. Literally, the top 15 separated by a second. With Cryptic, Cookie, and Red Fire, the top 3. And with Q1 done, We have Blackie, Owen, Fanflow, Egg, and Wavy eliminated. And we'll be moving on into Q2. Alright, so we are loaded up into queue number 2 now. Let's see what we got. Let's see who is the first one up and over. And looks like it is going to be Luke that's in the hot seat. So let's move forward now. Let's see what we got here. So Luke, as he is going to be out and about on this circuit of the Americas. And we will be, as he's making his way through the last couple corners. Let's go on board. Let's go on board with Luke as he starts his first lap for the benchmark. Coming out of the final corner, getting onto the DRS. As he makes his way just slightly up the hill into turn number 1. Nice and tight, hanging it right in the 4th gear. Now heading down the hill to turn number 2. Here we go now into the S's. This is where a lot of laps are going to get in trouble here. 3, 4, 5. We'll lose there. 6 now. Sweeping. Now 7. We're going 8. 9. And a little kink will get loose there by Luke, but keeps it held. Now down the hill into the next one of the next hairpins at turn 11. Now onto the back straight, where he'll get really up into that speed. With DRS with a toe, some of these guys can get up to get between 2 to 205 with a nice slipstream and a toe. Luke getting it up to 203 into the braking zone in turn 12. Now into the switchbacks of 13 through 16. 13 through 16 as it comes out 16 nicely. Now the 3-corner right-hander, 17 and 18. Now the last 2 corners, a 19. Up into the final corner of 20. Nice hanging it up with the track limits. Touching it nice with that curb. A little bit of looseness out of there. And the benchmark, 35.7 for Luke. And Beatnik responds with a 35.5, only to get smashed to bits by Red Fire, 34.3. Red Fire putting up almost identical pace that he did in Q1. Now the Chiller breaks into the 33s. Reese 34.9. Jacob, 35.4. And Tadpole, back foot, 36.0. Let's see, who's next to finish up? Well, it would be Az, but he is invalidated this time. The McLarens are out on their laps. Maxwell is actually up and about now, so he'll get a lap in. Boss Cookie is actually on his time lap. He is okay. He's on the back straight, heading to turn 12. Looks like we had. No, we have a slow car. Well, that's the Chiller slowing up for Cryptic. That's Maxwell, 33.3. And yeah, that is the Chiller. Gonna help out his teammate. See how fast he really is getting. Almost 205. Just about 205. That will help Cryptic out. Stays right on that white line in the corner. Makes his way through the switchbacks. And Boss Cookie, 34.6, puts him 0.3 clear of Reese. Cryptic now, heading into the last corner. And it is, across the line, 33.5. And speaking about which, when I mentioned about what Cookie, well, Cookie, by the way, well, next season, he is looking at no drive for next season because, as of a few days ago, next season's F1 lineup is all done. No joke, because literally, here's what we got. So, Mercedes Academy, it is Reese and Scyther in Mercedes. Yes, Scyther returns. Aston Martin is Stenner and newcomer Marnick. And then in Williams, it is NVR Term and Egg. As T comes across the line, 34.2, puts him P4. So Ferrari sandwiching the Red Bulls. And speaking of Red Bull's team keeps their drivers with the Chiller and Cryptic. And AlphaTauri will actually have two newcomers. Corey Marshall returns back to RPL Racing, I believe since season 5. And his teammate is none other than the guy that's in 5th place right now. Alpine's Red Fire Tiger. He is going to be moving from Alpine to AlphaTauri. Now, speaking of Alpine, their academy, Alpine will have Bourbon, who we are on board with now, and Ferrari driver Maxwell. Maxwell will be going to Alpine, while McLaren will be housed by Owen from AlphaTauri and Jack. So that will be interesting there. So Jack in the McLaren and teaming with Owen. And surprisingly, Luke is not going to be involved in F1 Season 8. Bourbon 33.9 puts it P4 now. 0.3 clear of TB. Now, only Ads and Globetrotter, aka Capspur, or I know I'm butchering his name, but those two are the only ones yet to set a lap. But now that leaves what's left. Ferrari Academy. Ferrari Academy, their lineup is this. TB will retain his seat in Ferrari, but he'll be joined by Alfa Romeo driver Jacob. Alfa Romeo, Beatnik, who we're on board with, he will be retaining his spot. And he'll be joined by Rev as Beatnik goes for a slide in turn number out of turn 9. But keeps it together, but those tires are going to be a little bit cooked. Anyways, Rev, aka RPD Connor, will be in the Alfa Romeo with Beatnik, and Haas will be RPL Zakaria, and currently, maybe, we don't know, because it's still in there, it's still up and about, potential F2 Season 14 Championship runner, Blonde. Now, the reason I'm saying that is that Blonde is currently leading the championship. He's fighting against Luke. But we don't know if Blonde will successfully win the championship. But anyways, so like I said, Ads and Globetrotter, they have yet to come out to do a lap. And with only 4.5 minutes to go, literally those two, along with Jacob, Beatnik, and Luke, are part of the bottom 5. Well, speaking of Jacob, he is actually on a lap. Let's see if he can get himself out of the bottom 5. Time to beat to get himself into the top 10. 35-1, he's got to beat. And here he comes across the line. 34-2 puts him P5, ahead of TB by 8 milliseconds. And 9/10 off of the current frontrunner of Maxwell. Okay, that's why Globetrotter left, so he's returning back to the session. He'll be back in there. So TB, despite being P6, he is done with Q2, so he thinks he's done enough. Cryptic, who's in second place, he's definitely going to be okay to Q3, I'm sorry. Jack is just returning back out to the circuit, because he is now in the bottom 5, and we'll have to see if he can get himself out of the bottom 5, which, by the way, the bottom 5, the ones at risk, is the 2 Mercedes of Cookie and Reese and Tadpole. But Reese is on a new lap now, so we'll have to see if he is able to stay in it. Now Cookie will definitely be okay. He's looking for right around in the high 33s. Here he comes out of the final corner, cross the line. Oh Lord, 33.5. That puts him second place. That drops TB to 7th now. I think TB is really gonna have to he's gonna have to cross his fingers, I think. But anyways, well, let's see. Jacob is called it. He's P6, so he might be safe to Q3. Let's see what Reese has once he comes out of Sector 2. 6/10 up in Sector 2. That's going to put him right around with Red Fire. Chiller has called it. 90 seconds to go. As Ads is now back onto the track. There comes Reese. He's coming out of the final corner now. Here he comes across the line. P6. That drops TB to 8th. Oh, this is going to be interesting. So TB really is going to have to hold his breath to see if he can stay in the hunt in Q2. Stay to hunt from Q2 and get himself into Q3 right now. Ads is starting his lap. Jack is up by 6/10. That will put him to P10. So he's going to have to do a little more. But yeah, Ads is out there. Globetrotter is not returning, so he will be out of Q2. Question is, who else will be joining him? But here comes Jack. Out of the final corner. Here he comes across the line. And it is 34-1. That will drop TB to P9. Oh boy. TB's really going to have to think of something. So, Red Fire, TB, Jacob, they need to hope that the guys below don't do better than they do so they can stay in it. But I think in Red's case, he should be okay. TB's now going to have to worry as Red goes to P7. So TB, I hate to say it, TB is going to get eliminated from Q2. Ads puts it P12, so Ads is out. Here comes Beatnik. Spit loses it and stays 11th. That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate there. And Luke 8/10 up, but it's not going to do much of anything. Here comes Luke across the line. P12. So Tadpole, can he do the upset and eliminate TB out of Q2? He's 2/10 up, so it's not enough. He's got to do a little more. As he comes across the line. No! Misses it out. 34-4. Tadpole, Beatnik, Luke as a Globetrotter eliminated. TB by the skin of his teeth is safe into Q3. So there it is, looking at this group. Again, the top 10, literally the groups going into the next round, separated by a second. Literally, so here it is Maxwell, Cookie, and Cryptic, the top 3 of Q2. The rest of this group, it is the Chiller, Bourbon, Reese, Redfire, Jack, Jacob, and TB. Now we will be moving on into Q number 3. Drivers are coming out onto the track. Red Bull pair that are first out. That you don't see often. The Red Bulls out of the gates first. Maxwell is in. Maxwell is in right behind them. Looks like Cookie, Jacob, Red Fire, and then Bourbon. So Reese, TB, and Jack sitting pretty in the pits, waiting to come out. We'll go on board with Maxwell for this Q3 starter. Not Maxwell, sorry, the Chiller, I'm sorry. Good lord. The Chiller, by the way, looking for some shine today this season, has come so close, like at least twice this season, to try to get a win for the first time since season 1, but the wins just keep eluding him. He had a chance. Let's see. I believe he had a chance in Belgium, but a late safety car. No, sorry. He had a chance in Monza, but a collision with Jacob knocked out that chance. And then he was pretty much close to winning in France, but a track limit penalty did him in, and Joseph Loki wound up winning that race instead. For the Chiller, with our glare right in our faces, that will probably hinder a little bit, but Chiller is probably gonna want some retribution for his failed losses. Well, I probably will say this: since he came close and was unsuccessful twice before, maybe third time's the charm for the Chiller. Now he is in title hunt against Scyther, as he sets the benchmark 33.4. Cryptic 33.6. Maxwell responds with a 33.3. Looks like Red Fire's gonna have to redo his lap. Cookie responds with a 33.1. What about Jacob as he comes out of the final corner? 35.2, so he's gonna do some improvements there. Wait, no, that's Jack that just started this. Red Fire is 34.2, and Bourbon with 33.7. Let's see, who's furthest up of this minor group? Well, it is Reese, actually. He's ahead in this. He's ahead. Reese there. There's TB right behind. And Jack actually just came out of 11 onto the back straight, with Maxwell right behind. So let's see what kind of a time Reese is able to do. Now, with Reese, he was in Aston Martin for several rounds, then wound up going up to Mercedes after Beatnik was tossed out from Mercedes Academy. Now Reese, 4th place, 33.5. Let's see, who just put in their lap? That's TB, 33.8, and Jack is back into the pits. So that's unfortunate for Jack. So he's gonna have to try again to at least improve on his time. Meanwhile, everybody else coming back into the pits. So looking at this, the top 7 separated by 0.7 of a second. Meanwhile, the back foot, Red Fire 1.1 seconds back, and Jacob 2.1 seconds back. So I think in Jacob's case, he must have had some slip up somewhere. But that is something different, to say the least. Cryptic has an invalidation, so he's gonna... I mean, literally, these guys are gonna be going into the pits anyways. Most likely, Jack is gonna be out first. Yes, he is. So there he is right there in the background. Coming on out onto the track. Now, who do I think is going to be top 3? Well, I mean, literally the top 3, I know it's as they are. Cookie, Maxwell, and the Chiller. Those 3 are going to be your top 3. But to be more precise, who do I think is going to be the rest of that top 3? Well, I think... I think it's going to be Cookie, pole position. Maxwell will be second, and the Chiller will be third. I'm just going to say it. It's going to stay as they are right there. But literally, I think the battle between the Chiller and Maxwell, it's going to be too close. It's going to be too close. I would say literally the top 3. Right now, they're 22 hundredths of a second apart. I think that 22 hundredths is going to drop. I would say the top 3 will probably be separated by... I'd say it will be cut almost in half. I'd say the separation will be like literally from first to third. So like in Cookie's place, it's literally I think the gap is going to be like it is between Cookie and Maxwell. Literally about 15 hundredths of a second or less. That's why I think the top 3 they're going to be separated by. Is that much. As for the Chiller and Maxwell, the Chiller is good, I'll give him that, but I think he's going to come up just short of Maxwell. I say he's going to be short by maybe 2 hundredths of a second. That's probably how close it's going to be. But anyways, Jack has yet to set a time. He will be setting a time once he comes out of these last couple of corners. He just has to keep it in the white lines and not invalidate. That's what he does not want to do. Now the S's, like I said, turns 3 through 9. That is where you're going to see a lot of track limit penalties and warnings. As Jack goes 6 fastest, 33.6. That leaves Red Fire and Jacob the only ones yet to set a lap in the 33s. Now, let's see. Well, Cryptic is going to have to redo. The Chiller is off on his run. Now, Cryptic has to redo his lap. He has a issue there. Anyways, let's see who. Yes. Let's see. The Chiller, he's on that. Oh. Well, Cookie just invalidated his, so unfortunately. So Cookie, unfortunately, I mean, if he could get back, if he could get around and cross the line with time to spare, he should be able to get another lap in. Okay, 50 seconds left. He's entering turn 12 now. Yeah, he'll make it in time. He'll make it with like probably about 20-ish seconds to spare. Now, Jacob is actually... Now, Jacob will probably be the first one of these guys to cross. He's almost a second up. So he'll be into the 34. He'll be up to 34-3. So he's going to have to do some more magic in Sector 3. Have to improve by at least another 4, 5, 10s, and he'll be into the 33s. But here he comes. And Jack just in the pits. So Jack will stay wherever he is going to be. Here comes Jacob across the line. P9, 33.8. That's the best that he's capable of doing. Anyways, here comes Maxwell. Maxwell is invalidated. If he didn't invalidate, oh, he wouldn't have done it. Off by 3 milliseconds. Red Fire at the P5. Here comes Bourbon now. Puts him in a second place. Holy hell. The Chiller has invalidated now. So the Chiller. Well, there goes my guesses. Here comes Cryptic. Can he answer? No, we got spinning into the wall. Oh, no. And so is TB. That's it. Boss Cookie, pole position after mistakes by the Red Bulls and Ferraris. Man. The Chiller invalidated. Maxwell invalidated. Like I said, the Chiller invalidated. Maxwell invalidated. TV spun out in turn 19. And Cryptic spun out in the final corner. Damn. That is unfortunate there, but there it is. So Boss Cookie, pole position. Bourbon second, and Maxwell third place. I mean, literally, look at this. I mean, literally, the top 10 separated by under 0.7 of a second. That's probably the closest I've seen this group in qualifying ever. And literally the top 5 separated by under 1/4 of a second. So, well, we now move on from Q3 to the race. Now, I wonder what everybody will be on for this event as we are loading in. Now, we do not know what tires these guys will be on because the tire in the race director will lie to us. But let's take a look at this group as we set off for today's race. So back row, it is going to be VLX Blackie, and he has Wavy Knife alongside for row 10. Row 9, it is Egg and Philodin. Row 8, Owen Globetrotter. Row 7, Ads and Luke. Tadpole and Beatnik make up row 6. Row 5, Jacob and TB. Jack and Cryptic make up row 4. The Chiller and Red Fire row 3. Reese Maxwell row 2. Bourbon and Cookie the front row. So here we go as the 5 lights. As we'll be going off, the 5 lights come on to start the US Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. It looks like Reese got a horrendous start. Bogged down at the start, loses multiple positions as Cookie and it's turn number 1 in the lead. He's got Maxwell alongside with Bourbon. Fighting off as they head into turn number 2, and we have the Red Bulls scrapping between the Chiller and Cryptic. But Maxwell gets ahead of Bourbon as they head into there, and there goes Tadpole. Tadpole wrecked by Globetrotter, and we have a VSC deployed. Well, Tadpole, you jinxed it. You jinxed it, pal. You said you were going to hopefully last a lap. Well, you didn't. You only lasted to turn 2, and you're out. Good God. Tadpole, you jinxed it, pal. Oh, Lord. Anyways, well, with those guys out, let's take a look at the tires that everyone's on. Let's see. Blackie, Ads, Luke, Reese, Beatnik, Jacob, Jack, TB, and Bourbon are on the hard compound tires. Everyone else is on the mediums, and I'm not including the 2 that just crashed out. Anyways, so we're backing away, and Reese had a horrendous start. I mean, the guy started, let's see, what did he start, like P5 or something? Oh, P4, and he's already down in 11th place. So Reese horribly bogged down, to say the least, and it looks like we have trouble in Sector 3. That is Blackie that spins out. But anyways, as the drivers come across to start the first lap, it is Cookie, Maxwell, Bourbon, The Chiller, Cryptic, Red Fire, TB, Jack, Jacob, and Beatnik, as The Chiller, by the way, just overtakes Bourbon to get into P3. And meanwhile, slightly further back, we're going to have a little war zone between Owen and Luke, as Owen, but oh boy, he just, okay, well, okay, well, there was a bump from Owen. A bump from Owen into the back end of Luke, and Luke goes spinning out, but both cars seem to be okay, other than their tires being pretty much cooked. And meanwhile, Beatnik just overtaking Reese to get himself into P10. Reese back in 11th, and Cryptic, by the way, just took Bourbon. Whoa, nice block by Beatnik, but not enough as Reese trying to get into that 10th place. But Beatnik holding his own and trying to keep that last point position there. A little snap oversteer by Reese, and he falls further back, staying in 11th place right now. Meanwhile, on board with The Chiller as he has Max on his sights as Cookie starts off the next lap, and DRS is now enabled. 37.0, the fastest lap set by Cookie. Now, Cookie debuted in Singapore 2 weeks ago. And, well, let's see what he's going to be able to do in this event. But he's had some good finishes so far. I'll go up into Maxwell now. Like I said, so with Cookie, by the way, he debuted Singapore, started 3rd, finished 3rd, and in Japan, started 8th, finished 3rd. So 2 races, 2 3rd places. I'm more with Maxwell as Cookie trying to break the slipstream as Maxwell gets that DRS. Is he willing to make a shot down the inside? No, he's looking to go way out on the outside, but no, backs off, doesn't think it. He's like, well, maybe I'm gonna wait off for just a second. No, he's sending a move in the inside. They make contact, slip and slide between Cookie and Maxwell. They're both okay, and a tap again as The Chiller now says, thank you very much. I'll try to take advantage, but no, The Chiller has the door slammed on him. Meanwhile, Cryptic is there too. Four-way fight for the lead, and there was, like I said, contact in turn 13 between Maxwell and Cookie. They went into a slight slide, but they're both okay, just losing some tenths of time. we're keeping an eye on that, let's get back towards the front as Reese just overtook Beatnik to get into 10th place, and Red Fire in the penalty club because of track limits in the S's. I did say those S's will cause track limit warnings and penalties. And sure enough, Red Fire joins that rank, and it looks like Reese has gone spinning. And he has fallen all the way down to 14th. Meanwhile, back towards the front. Well, Maxwell having a momentum to take an attack. He's going for it on the outside as Cookie trying to defend hard, but no go. We have a new leader. Maxwell leads the U.S. Grand Prix. We'll have to see if Maxwell is going to be capable of joining his teammate TB and Scyther as the only drivers to win more than one race of the season, as we just see Egg going around. Egg in trouble in turn 15 by the looks of it. Looks like Cookie, I mean, he did have some shouts of glory being in the lead for a few laps, but now that's out of there. That's Cookie. Falls to second place now to Chiller, looking to sneak a peek, saying, "Hello, I'm here. I want to take your second place now." Further back, his teammate TB has Bourbon to contend with. He is in DRS range to get that spot. And Bourbon is not in DRS range against Red Fire. Red Fire, despite that penalty, still hanging tough in P5. Meanwhile, Fatflow and Reese. Oh, Reese having a fight. Actually, Fatflow's having some lag problems again. Meanwhile, TB down the inside gets clear of Bourbon up into 6th place. And those hard tires are now starting to warm up now. But in TB's case, he's gonna have a little problem because now that he's clear of Bourbon, this DRS zone coming up in a few corners, Bourbon will have that. TB will not. And now look at this. Jack has just entered. Maybe did he enter? I'm not sure. Did he enter DRS? Yes, he did. Yes, he has. And Jacob hanging on in P9. Beatnik hanging on in P10. But yeah, Reese. He's having some issues. Still in P13. Up against Fatflow. Way further back towards the back of the field. Oh, and an Egg battling. This is for P15. And, oh, looks like Egg just turned in early. Little contact between him and Owen. Owen runs off. P15 still. While Fatflow kicked out of the lobby. Those are connection issues. He had this plaguing him all weekend. Chiller is still pursuing Cryptic as we're getting a nice shot of this helicopter cam. Reese just passed the AI of Fatflow now. So Reese now in P12, but almost 3 seconds behind Ads, who's sitting in P11. Look at this. We have a small train going on here. Maxwell, Cookie, to Chiller. Now Red Fire and Cryptic joining in. They're back in the hunt now. Unfortunately, because of the DRS that Cookie has with Maxwell, the Chiller just can't seem to fully execute an attack to get himself into second place. Owen and meanwhile the Williams pair of Egg and Owen. And oh boy. Okay. Well, Owen is now out, racked out, and a safety car deployed. We did see contact between him and Egg. They both went spinning, and Owen out of the event now. And that will trigger a safety car. Now for the medium tire guys, this could work out to potentially for them to potentially pit, and maybe go for hard tires for the rest of the event. The hard tire runners, well, they might go for mediums, but it just is up to what will happen. Well, we'll just have to wait and see what will happen. But Maxwell, let's see who will make the execution first. Yeah, Maxwell's in, Cookie's in, so it's a chiller. Oh, slight bump between them. And it looks like TB has opted to stay out. Yeah, TB's opted, Jack's opted, Red Fire's in, Bourbon, Jacob, all them, they're in. Beatnik. Beatnik's opted to stay out. He just got ahead of Cookie. So Cookie now have to deal with some more problems. Because Cookie has to get clear of Beatnik as soon as possible in order to stay in the hunt against Maxwell. Let's see what happens. But anyways, so for those that are just joining us, so those who are just joining us, we are in round 17 of RPL F1 Season 7. We are at Circuit de Americas. We had Cookie claim his first ever pole position. We had a VSC for Tadpole and Globetrotter wrecking out in turn number 2 on the opening lap. And then in lap 7, and then lap 6, Owen, after colliding with Egg, Owen out in turn number 1. That results in this safety car. So currently, here's what we're looking at. So TB and Jack, they're 1-2. They're on hards. They haven't pitted yet. Beatnik has started on hards. He has stayed out. He's in 4th though. Maxwell, the first ones to stop. He is in 3rd. Cookie is in 5th. The Chiller 6th. Ad stayed out. He's in 7th. Red Fire in 8th. Cryptic 9, Bourbon 10, and then the rest of this group, it is Jacob, Reese, Blackie, Luke, Egg, and Wavy. So here we go. Safety car in this lap. TB in control of the field. So let's see what will happen. So, for those who are just joining us and miss anything of this stream, feel free to hit the follow and subscribe button, whichever it is, and follow us for further highlights of this race so far. So TB in control. Once we cross the line, we'll be entering lap 9 of 28. Let's see when he will go. He is gonna gun for it right by the line. We're back in the green here in the U.S. Grand Prix. He's thinking about making an attack on Maxwell, but Cookie with a slingshot attack gets past Beatnik, and so does the Chiller. The Chiller fighting up and gets himself into 5th place. Beatnik falls into 6th. Maxwell gets past his Jack really quickly, and he's up against his teammate. TB lets him by at the exit of the S's. And then Maxwell back in the lead again. Now Cookie, he's going to have to get past Jack and TB in order to try to reinstall pursuit with Maxwell. He does somewhat get past Jack, but Jack trying to fight back. Meanwhile, the Chiller also wanting to fight as well. Yeah, well, big fight to say the least, and more fighting in the midfield. Cryptic in P9 trying to fight there. There's Bourbon battling with Beatnik for P7, and TB shoving up with Cookie. No contact in between these two, but TB stays alright and is sitting in 3rd place. And Red Fire goes spinning in turn 18. And he falls to the back of the field. What happened to Red Fire? He wasn't in contact with somebody because Red Fire was right around in the top 10. Meanwhile, Jack being cleared by the Chiller, P4, and Maxwell 1.2 seconds to gap between him and Boss Cookie, and Jacob goes spinning out of turn 2. No damage there, but he is okay. Maxwell a little slippery. Slip there. Anyways, two battles here. We have the Chiller wanting to sneak an attack. Nope, nothing there. And Blackie has spun out in turn 10, and that triggers another safety car. So we only managed to get through 2 laps before the safety car gets deployed. Now, this will help those that did not pit under the first safety car, being Ads, Beatnik, Jack, and TB. This will benefit them. Maxwell, before the safety car, pulled a 2.2 second lead over Cookie. Unfortunately, now he's gonna have to do it all over again. TB is going in. TB is going in with Jack, and Beatnik is in along with Ads. So the rest of the field that have pitted and didn't pit under the first safety car, they're in now. But there's some more joining up. Fanflow's AI is on the soft compound tire. What? Okay. Well, that's just silly and dumb. But anyways, Jacob onto the medium compound tires, another set. After a spin in turn 2, know, he's gonna have to think of something to say the least. But anyways, here is our field now. So here's what we're looking at. So it is Maxwell leading, Cookie in second, the Chiller third, Bourbon fourth, Cryptic 5, Reese is in 6th. Luke, by the way, nice working by him, getting the 7th place. Egg, also good work by him. He's sitting in 8th. Wavy sitting in 9th, and Red Fire in 10th place. But that's also not factoring in his track limit penalty. TB is in 11th. Jax is 12th. Beatnik 13th. Ads in 14th. And Jacob is in 15th, because we'll be pulling out the AI of Fanflow out of the event. So we have 5 drivers out of this race. So we had, like said earlier, we had Globetrotter and Tadpole. Opening lap collision in turn number 2. They are out. Owen, after an incident with Egg out of turn 1, Owen is out. Owen was out there. That triggered the first safety car. Now safety car number 2, courtesy of Blackie, crashing in turn 10. So, and literally the surprise thing is that Red Fire is the only driver with a track limit penalty. So Red Fire, like I said, track limit penalty on his end. As I wonder if who else got some track limits. Well, we have quite a bit here. Looks like Owen had 2 smacks with Luke. Yeah, there's quite a few track limits here, but who knows what who else will be joining Red Fire in the penalty club. So, safety car should be coming in this time. I think it should be coming in this time. So, once we are about to start up again, yep, we are. So, once Maxwell crosses the line, we'll be at 13 of 28. We'll be almost halfway through this event. So Maxwell, we're almost halfway through this race. So by looking at this group, I mean, involving the top 3, we have Maxwell chasing his 2nd win of the season, Cookie looking for his first ever career win, the Chiller looking for his first win since season 1. But let's see where Maxwell will go. He is taking off right at the pit entry, and we are go again in USA. And Maxwell, nice jump against Cookie, gets a 6/10 of a second gap over Cookie. Cookie went for a slight slingshot into turn 1. That may have slightly backfired. It's not for attack on Maxwell. It's to keep the Chiller behind in 2nd place. It looks like Wavy has spun out in turn number 2. He was in the top 10. And I think maybe he may have had an incident with maybe Red Fire or could be Egg, the Academy assistant. And there goes Maxwell. Maxwell has spun out. Maxwell has spun in turn 9 that hands to Chiller the lead. And I think Cookie has spun out too. Yeah, Cookie was second place. He falls to 7th, and there is damage on that Mercedes. And look at Luke. Whoa. Lag spiking by Luke. There he goes. He goes spinning. That's a lag spin as Luke goes spinning out of 4th place. Yeah, that is a lag spin that I ever seen. In that case, Red Fire 3-wide fight between the Alpines and Cookie. And Cookie having some problems. Meanwhile, Red Fire, whoa! Jeez. Not sure what. Wow. Cookie is all over the place. And Red Fire was sent slingshotting way off the track. And that sends Jacob in the 7th place. Red Fire probably not happy getting sent super wide by Cookie. Anyways, Jacob just cleared Egg for P10. Axel now has to deal with Luke. Well, actually, I don't think Lucas had any more lag. I don't think he has. That was just a weird, strange lag spike that he's had. Oh wait, nope, never mind. He's having it again. So Luke is having some lag issues, to say the least. But anyways, to Chiller, 1.2 seconds clear of Bourbon. And, yeah, I mean, literally, because of Maxwell spinning out and then Cookie spinning out with also subsequent damage. I mean, actually, no, he doesn't have damage. Well, I guess it's just the game being silly again. Okay, so I guess the game is being silly. But anyways, Egg battling against Beatnik, but Egg's slip up, that sends Eggs into 11th place. Luke now up into 12th now. Here comes Maxwell as well to get clear of Egg to put himself into 13th. Maxwell, despite we're at the halfway point of this race, Maxwell's got some work to do to get himself back into the points. Meanwhile, Cryptic is trying to close that gap to Bourbon to get himself in the DRS range, and he is not able to at this point. Wavy is now in the penalty club in the S's, and he has just went off track and crashed. Just seeing it on the map, I'm not sure if he spun out and crashed or what happened, but just seeing it on the map, Wavy is now out. That is our 6th driver out of this event. Meanwhile, DRS playing in favor of Luke, getting clear of Egg, and Jacob clearing Red Fire for P8. Now, speaking of Red Fire is to blame for Wavy is being spun out. Yeah, so Wavy spun out earlier in the race, about a lap ago. Red Fire was to blame for it, according to him. And I wouldn't want to repeat what Wavy is saying in the RPL Discord chat, but let's just say this: he is not happy. Like I said, Red Fire has to behave himself. He is almost close to a quali ban for an event, and looks like that could be happening for next week's event, which is in Mexico. And speaking of a fight here, we have a fight for 3rd between Cryptic and Reese. Cryptic loses that fight there, but Reese happily with that DRS because he was in DRS range just into turn 11. So Reese is ahead. And Reese up into third place. Here comes TB saying hello. And TB holding his own. And he gets ahead of the Reese on the outside. Not Reese. Cryptic on the outside. And that puts TB in the fourth place. Nice nice work by TB. Now TB and now Boss Cookie into the penalty club for track limits. Most likely out of turn 19. That's another area where trouble can happen. And it looks like Red Fire is no, not Red Fire. It's Az that goes spinning out of the final corner. Meanwhile, the Chiller still leading this race. 1.4 seconds clear of Bourbon. And Bourbon 2.2 seconds clear of Reese. That gap, it is going down, but not by much. Meanwhile, TB, we're going to stay in range of Reese. He will have DRS, but so will Cryptic on TB, Cookie on Cryptic, and Jack on Cookie. And speaking of DRS, TB, not TB, Beatnik moves out of the way for Maxwell. Maxwell back into the points. It looks like we had trouble in turn 11. That is Egg. That one's spinning in turn 11. Meanwhile, Jack putting on some pressure against Cookie. Cookie, like I said, like literally about 5 laps ago, he was running in second. Something went wrong in turn 9 between him and Maxwell. I mean, Maxwell wound up spinning towards the back of the field. He's back in P9. And Cookie I'm guessing had a slide and fell in basically 8th place, but now recovered at 6th. Meanwhile, Reese's gap to Bourbon, 1.9 seconds, and was still dropping, but now gone up a little bit as these drivers head into the S's. There's Bourbon right there. And Bourbon, by the way, 2.1 seconds. Well, it's fluctuating on the gap between Bourbon and the Chiller. But you can see there, but we may have a fight for the last spot of the podium between TB and Reese. He's going to close it in. The question is how much closer can he get? Will he make an attack somewhere? He's not going to do it this point. He's going to wait for another opportunity to strike. He do the same thing like he did with Cryptic. Try to go for a shot on the outside. Jacob is currently sitting in 8th place. Maxwell's still in 9th. He's 2.1 seconds behind. So Maxwell's going to have to do some more giddy-upping in order to get a shot to try to get some more points in. And Maxwell now into the penalty club. Again, just like with Cookie, turn 19 does him in. Unfortunately, if the race ended as it is, Maxwell will fall to 10th place ahead of Beatnik. And Cookie would be falling to 8th place. Behind Beatnik, yeah. And then Cookie will be behind Jacob in 8th. But that's it, the race ended right then and there. But we still got another 9 laps to go in this race. And Bourbon's still hanging on. Is still hanging on to 2nd place, 2 seconds behind the Chiller. Still trying to keep that gap as simple as possible. And TB is getting pretty impatient with Reese because Reese is losing time to Bourbon. I think TB has finally had enough. He wants past. He sends the shot down the inside. And TB up into third place. Now he has to hunt down Bourbon and then hunt down the Chiller. Because right now, TB 4.9 seconds, 4.8 seconds behind the Chiller and 2.3 seconds behind Bourbon. TB is really gonna have to do something to get himself further up in this points hunt. Currently, right now, the fastest laps is still held by Boss Cookie, 37.0. The fastest lap of this event. Chiller not getting the fastest lap. He'll get the 25 full points, which will shunt over Scyther's lead, which right now 55 points. Right now, if the Chiller manages to win this one, he'll be 30 points behind Scyther with 3 races left to go. And in this case, with Cryptic where he is in P5, it's only going to be 10 points. That only put him 84 points behind, which means, unfortunately, Cryptic is going to be eliminated from the championship hunt. I think, actually, if he finishes the way it is, Cryptic is not going to get second place. He'll be fighting Maxwell, Jack, and Luke, and TB for third place in the championship. But anyways, speaking of Cryptic, sends a dive shot on Reese in turn 16. Now here he goes on to the 17 and 18. Reese staying ahead of Cryptic, and Cryptic just can't seem to get past Reese, who saw a shot to do it, but couldn't fully execute it. Meanwhile, TB 2.7 seconds behind Bourbon and just cannot reel him in. I mean, now the Chiller, by the way, he really needs to keep his cool together. Like I said, he has not won a race since season 1. And literally, in this case, if he wins, if Scyther wins, he will be the, let's see, standby. He'll be the Chiller wins, not only will he end the curse, but he will also be the 7th different winner in RPL F1 this season. Now, meanwhile, at the back of this train is Jack. He is looking to see if he wants to sneak a move to get clear of Cookie and put himself into P6. Now, Cookie was having a good run so far earlier in the race, but then something happened at the end of the S's. Same with Maxwell, and that resulted in Cookie being where he is in P6. But because of that penalty, that Cookie's got, Cookie will still fall to right now 8th place, because Jacob is currently 2.5 seconds behind Cookie. Now Maxwell will be 9th place at this present time, because Maxwell is 1.2 seconds ahead of Jacob, but the next guy in 10th, Beatnik, is almost 4.5 seconds behind. Let's see, as we're on board with Jack, is he willing to make a shot in the dark to go for P6? No, he does not. He's too far back to do it, but he's still staying the toe and slip in the slipstream of Cookie. As this train is still in a full effect. And actually, speaking of wars, looks like we're gonna have a war for second, as TB has successfully reeled in Bourbon. I think Bourbon had a malfunction somewhere because he was about 2 seconds behind the Chiller. Now he's almost 5 seconds behind. We're on board with the Bourbon. As you can see, there is that red blip. That is the Ferrari car. TB is right on his toes. Well, this should be pretty interesting to say the least. Now, TB has now gotten clear of Reese in terms of the DRS. So that means once 4 through 8 come out of turn 11, Cryptic could look at maybe an attack on Reese, and it looks like we have a problem. That is Jacob that is spun out, so Maxwell will keep his 8th place now. Jacob spins out in turn 9, just like with so many others beforehand. There's Cryptic bonsai move against Reese, and Maxwell bonsai shot against Jack, and in some good shot there. Cryptic in the 4th place, and Maxwell up in the 7th. But because of the penalties, Maxwell will drop to 8th place. If he wants to stay 7th, he has to clear Cookie. Well, the Chillers just crossed the start lap number 24 of 28, so 4 to go in this race. The Chiller 6 seconds clear, is 6 seconds clear of Bourbon. Unless an act of God gets in his way, the Chiller is looking to end the streak of unsuccessful wins. He's looking to end that streak. Maxwell trying his best to hunt down. Yeah, Maxwell just trying his best to hunt down. Is looking to hunt down Cookie to try to get in there. Here comes Cookie on his teammate, and TB has successfully cleared Bourbon with just caught in time. Maxwell sent almost off the track by Cookie and Reese, but he's not giving up. He's looking for a move on the outside and joins the penalty club now. Maxwell just fighting it hard with the Mercedes driver, and Maxwell successful-ish. Yes. Maxwell up into 6th place. Looks like we have a problem in out of turn 11. That is Egg that is spun out. He's continuing on. We're off and away. Now, I was wrong on the Chiller's last win. His last win was in Season 2. So the Chiller's last win was Season 2, but which track was it? I'd like to know what track it was that the Chiller's last win was. Trying to locate it very quickly. Ah, Belgium. It's got to be Belgium. That was his last win. Anyways, Cryptic, by the way, just successfully cleared Bourbon for 3rd place. Maxwell still in hot pursuit of Cookie to try to get that 5th place. Try to get in the 5th. At this moment, it's still going to be 8th place right now as Cookie battling with Bourbon now. Bourbon with a slip. And Bourbon was 2nd place literally a lap ago. Now falls, and he's fallen even further. Bourbon spins out in turn 17. That is very unfortunate. That is hugely unfortunate for Bourbon. I mean, literally 2 laps ago, he was in 2nd. He was in 2nd place. Now he has fallen all the way down to out of the points. So no points for McLaren. That is super unfortunate. And with only 2 to go, Bourbon into the pits. That's probably going to be the end of him. Unless he's going to go for fastest lap to steal that. I mean, it wouldn't be surprising if he does. But anyways, because of that spin, Maxwell, if he clears Cookie, he can keep 5th place because he is 1.5 seconds clear of Jack and over 5 seconds clear of Reese. Once he gets clear Cookie, he'll be up in the 5th. He'll be up in the 5th place. But Cookie putting on that fight, putting on that fighting show, and Maxwell off the track, bouncing up off the curb, but Cookie still keeping 4th, what is essentially 5th place. Jack looking for a 4th place finish. Jack is only 1.7 seconds behind Cookie and 1.2 seconds behind Maxwell, as the Chiller has entered the final lap of the event. Meanwhile, Jacob under pressure against Red Fire. Contact! Jacob goes spinning after contact with Red Fire, but there was some loot, but Jacob did get loose. Was loose, and looks like Jack has had a problem. Jack must have had a malfunction. Did he have a... Oh no. Jack got disqualified for not using the correct tires. Oh no. That's extremely unfortunate. That's extremely unfortunate. But anyways, but now, up to this. We have a fight for 2nd place. We have a fight for 4th. Who will be making the move? Here comes Maxwell fighting hard against Cookie. Can he get it past? Oh, Lord, scrubbing of the wheels. And Maxwell, no, dive bomb, heavy dive bomb. Maxwell forced wide. Cookie desperate to keep that 4th place. And he goes off. He goes off. So does Maxwell. Maxwell goes off. But coming out of the final corner, he ends the curse. He ends the curse. He ends the curse. The Chiller wins in Circuit of the Americas. The Chiller wins. Cryptic tries a shot but couldn't do it. TV 2nd place. Cryptic 3rd. Maxwell 4th. Boss Cookie 5th place. Reese comes around. He'll cross the line. He will get 6th place. Beatnik will cross in 7th. Red Fire 8th place. Luke, oh my goodness. My goodness. And Luke, Lone to Haas. He will get Haas points. 9th place. No, he got spinning. Slight spin, but 9th place for Luke. Nice job there. And Ads will finish it off. 10th place. Bourbon 11th. Jacob 12th. And Egg, he 13. it is. The race is over. Holy hell. Wow. The TV marked for driver today. I mean, as much as I would like that, because he is my Ferrari Academy driver, but I mean, come on, the Chiller wins. That's gotta mean something. I think that's driver of the day right there. The Chiller wins. Finally. Like, finally. He finally wins. And, by the way, the Chiller still stays in the hunt for the championship. But unfortunately, Cryptic, I mean, even though Cryptic got third, sadly, Cryptic's out. But there it is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The Chiller wins. Cryptic second. Not Cryptic. TB second. Cryptic in third. Max in fourth. Cookie in fifth. Reese in sixth. Beatnik 7. Redfire 8. Luke 9. Now, it says Philden 10th, but Az is 10th because Fanflow left during the event because of internet problems. Bourbon 11th, Jacob 12th, and Egg 13th. I mean, and then the rest of them, Wavy, Blackie, Owen. I mean, what's really sad is that Jack eliminated out of it. That's just really sad. I mean, he did do hards to mediums, and the game just went like, nope, you're disqualified for not using the correct tires. So that's just really pathetic. But anyways, so the Chiller ends the curse. And now let's move on to what's going on next week. So next week, Tier 2 will be battling Interlagos for Tier 2. And that is round 9 of the championship. They had 2 more rounds left till it's all over. F2 and F1 have 3 more. F1 will be at Monza next week, and for F1, the RPL F1 drivers will be in Mexico. So, from RPL Streams, this is Ty and Ironwolf saying good night, and have a good one.